Well, that's what it looks like on Lake Sam Rayburn. We started with 109 anglers, cut the field down to 51, and here, after a day off, we're down to 12 anglers. Welcome to Toyota Bassmaster Studios. I'm Tommy Sanders here with Davey Height. And Davey, the way they're catching them on Sam Rayburn, we said, hey, this final day is going to be a free-for-all. Anyone can win. It's going to be a free for two. The odds makers would tell us right now. Two guys have totally separated themselves from the rest.
They really have, Tommy. It's been an incredible tournament. It has certainly not disappointed. Sam Rayburn is on fire, one of the best, if not the best fishery in the country. But there have been two guys that have separated themselves. They have been able to catch the big fish, and big fish really matter. The other thing different about this tournament in Texas Bass Fest, having the day off, and the weather change, obviously, with the extra day off. The wind coming out of the north for this final day rather than the south, I think it's going to really change fishing a lot. Those fish will have to reposition because of the wind direction change, and some of the fishermen will certainly have to reposition. But we'll see. My bet's on Brent Ayler or Brandon Pollock, that's for sure.
Well, all right now might be a good time to take a little review of what's gone on during the first 3 days here at Sam Rayburn Reservoir. Day number one, we look at Brent Ayler. What a history he's had in Texas so far this year. Day one, look at that weight, 25 pounds and 6 ounces, including this bass, 9 pounds and 1 ounce. That bass alone could be very, very fortuitous as far as he goes because it could mean a Toyota Tundra. Day two, and Brent Ayler now mindful of the fact that he could win wire to wire here. Can't win wire to wire if you don't lead on the first 2 days, and he starts out pretty much the same way on this incredible Sam Rayburn Reservoir, and it yields to him again a 20-pound plus stringer, 22 pounds and 5 ounces. But on day number three, another angler would enter the spotlight. This man here, Brandon Pollock, on fire on the third day of competition, racking up 24 pounds and 7 ounces.
Yeah! Woo-hoo-hoo! That was so freaking cool.
And with that effort, Brandon Pollock would take over the lead despite this last-ditch effort on day number three by Brent Ayler. A good keeper at the end of the day, but still, he would come up short. Short, though, by only 2 ounces, a total weight of 71 pounds and 14 ounces for Brent Ayler. The Mercury move of the day goes to Brandon Pollock, taking over the lead on day three.
Feeling good. I'm anxious. I want to get out there and see that those fish have had a day off since we've been there. I just want to see if those fish are there. That's the biggest thing right now is the unknown of how far did those fish move? Did they move? We've got a different wind direction. I'm curious to see how much wind we have on that spot. I may have to adjust. We'll find out here shortly.
Well, Brandon Pollock, it's obvious he knows he's in a neck-and-neck horse race with Brent Ayler right there. You can see how close that one is and how far back the rest of the field is. He also knows, Davey, that a lot can change when they round that final turn and head for home. And of course, now you've got to factor in that they've had a whole day to think about it off the water for 24 hours.
They've certainly had a whole day to think about it, Tommy, but the fish have had a whole day to reposition. With this wind direction changing, I guarantee you these fish will reposition. But hopefully for Brandon Pollock, he's able to reposition his boat and set up differently on his bank that he's been able to catch them on and catch some more fish today.
Well, he and all the rest of us are ready to get the lines out there and get this thing started and just get the answers to the questions that Brandon Pollock was talking about. What is this final day going to be like?
Well, every day this bank has been really protected, and it's been blowing out of the kind of the southeast, where now we've got like a northeast wind, and just everything's changed. You know, you got to come at everything kind of from a different angle. There's waves beating up on the bank, which you'd think normally is better, typically, but for some reason, some unknown, we didn't get bit on that bank this morning, which is the first time in 4 days. They just will not eat that big worm this morning. It's crazy. This is fun. It's early. Let's keep moving around and grinding it out. First couple days we're just moving and fishing and changing up all the time.
How much weight do you think you need to take first?
At least 22, 23, at least. It's gonna be really tough, I think, to get it, but Brent's too good. He's not gonna slip up.
Brandon Polinick knows his opponent. He also knows that things are different in his area, and he's just trying to get some feedback, try to get a direction to take on this final day. Let's make it over to his opponent now. Brent Ehrler looking for his first Bassmaster win. He's had a disappointment or two this year, and he would love to close the deal today.
Well, it's really tough to say he's had some disappointments, but he has, because I guarantee you Brent Ehrler wants to win one of these Bassmaster Elite tournaments. But the good thing is the weather changed for everyone, and Brent Ehrler is going to have to reposition his boat and maybe fish his spots a little differently.
Just a second, I'm just going to stop him.
1 pound, 13 ounces.
Cool.
Well, Tommy, today is definitely a different day, mainly because of that wind direction that we've talked about. It has changed coming out of the north. These guys have been able to catch fish throughout the day. Brent Ehrler catching 1 or 2 small fish, but then he's been able about 9 o'clock to be able to catch big fish. These fish will set up better during the day, and I guarantee you we'll see some big fish caught this afternoon.
Starting small and finishing big. That's a great scenario for all of us. Plenty more to come. We're just getting started on the final day.
The Toyota Bassmaster Texas Fest is brought to you by KOTA, Nitro Boats, Berkeley, and by Triton Boats.
Sam Rayburn Reservoir is an absolute fish factory relative to largemouth bass abundance. Primary reasons for this include good habitat conditions pretty much year after year, annual Florida largemouth bass stockings, and relatively low annual fishing mortality. No question, fishing is big business at Sam Rayburn. In 2007, with the help of thousands of anglers and over 80 different tournament organizations, we estimated the economic value of the recreational fishery at Sam Rayburn to be $47 million. And of that $47 million, $31 million, or 66% of that economic value was actually due to tournament fishing. On average, over 400 tournaments occur each and every year at Sam Rayburn. There's enough tournaments that we actually use tournament data to help monitor the fishery at Sam Rayburn, specifically the abundance of larger bass.
Boom shakalaka, giant bass throws his hat in the ring to roll out of town with a brand new Toyota Tundra.
What a neat deal it is to have the Toyota Bassmaster Texas Fest here at Sam Rayburn. This format is very unique and very conservation-minded. The unique aspect of it is it's a catch, weigh, and immediate release format with trained judges on board.
They call him Toyota Truck Guy.
Kudos to B.A.S.S. for considering and incorporating this format. It's a very conservation-minded format and might be the format of the future.
3-6.
Formulating a great policy and, more importantly, getting out there and making it happen. That's a story of Texas parks and wildlife. And this, well, no less than Kevin Van Dam declared it as possibly the best fishery in America today. Sam Rayburn Reservoir, this is the final day. Brent Ehrler started 2 ounces back. Brandon Polinick, but it did not take him long to regain that lead as he fishes on the final day.
Couple bites, it's different, wind's different direction. They're biting this morning, right off the get-go, which it hasn't done yet. And then now it's kind of slacked off a little bit. Dang it, if he comes this way, I like that pocket in front of us there. That's a better one.
£2, 8 ounces.
2.8, a little better. Give me another pound. Give me another pound of weight. I like it.
Well, I certainly like it too. Brent Ayler said that there's only certain areas where the bigger fish seem to be, and he has found a couple of those areas. Jason Christie has been fishing south, way farther south than a lot of the rest of these guys, catching a lot of fish on a frog. His trouble has been catching fish that are over 4 pounds.
Another aspect of the trouble Jason Christie has encountered, let's take it all the way back to day number 1, and some hands-on difficulties, that's for sure.
You have ice on your hand. Is that to cool off trip from lifting all these fish, or did you injure yourself out there?
I had a little accident.
Well, that's certainly something you don't want to have happen to you in a Bassmaster Elite tournament, but it's part of playing the game.
Man, buried up to the, deep as I've ever had. And whenever you get a hook in your hand, you want to get it out as quick as you can, because you kind of still have that numb feeling. Well, my marshal or my judge, he didn't want any part of it. And there's not a lot of people you trust. You know, one of the first guys I seen was Shaw, and he said, we'll get it out. Shaw had to use a knife and make a little bitty incision, and he turned it and got it out. I'm not gonna lie to you, it hurt. You know, they ate me up on social media for not using the line trick. Well, there's sometimes you can't use the line trick. If it's that deep and it's got that much meat, you can't use it. But today I haven't even felt it. It doesn't hurt a bit today. So, just glad to get it out. It hurt like crazy when he was pulling it out, but let me tell you, when that hook was laying on the boat, man, I felt a lot better.
There's a big one.
I thought he was bigger than that, but he'll help.
Well, all of these great frog fishermen here on the Bassmaster Elite Series will tell you if you want success with this, you've got to commit to it, you got to stick with it, and that's been exactly Jason Christie's game plan, getting some results right there. Currently up into second place. As we move over to start the day in third place was Hank Cherry.
Well, speaking of a game plan and sticking to it, Hank Cherry has done just that with a jerkbait. He certainly loves to throw a jerkbait. He does it very, very well. He's been fishing 2 jerkbaits, a small one and a bigger one. I really like his game plan. He's definitely won the numbers game this week.
Right now we got about 9 pounds. They're biting a little differently. Still catching a bunch, but we haven't seen a real fat, healthy one yet. But I haven't done any damage in the first couple hours all week, so. But the wind's blowing a total different direction. The fish are setting up a little weird. They're not really on the grass today. They're kind of out off it. So I'm just having to fan cast more than I'd like. But they're biting at least, so that's a good thing. Big one. Big one. You gotta get out the way.
Well, you had to think with the numbers game that Hank Cherry has been playing and mastering here all 3 days at Sam Rayburn. On the final day, at least the math would catch up to him. He'd get into some big ones. He certainly got into a big one there. Moves him into the second place spot. So a great move for Hank Cherry. Early on still on this 4th and final day as we head up to Brandon Polinick.
Well, Hank Cherry and Brent Ayler are fishing grass, and it's easier to reposition on those grass lines with the change in the wind direction. It's been tougher for Brandon Polinick, but I think he's got his boat in the right position on the brush pile now.
There's the brush.
Biggin, get out of there. Oh, she's got me in the brush. Come on, come on, get it out of there. She's got me in the brush. Oh no. No, 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 no. Don't start this way. She's still on there. My heart is racing. Come on, don't start this way. Oh, it's a big one too. Come on, she's still on there. There we go, couple branches.
think I got her. Got her out. Oh, it's a big one. No, he's not that big. That's a good start though. Come here, come here. Yeah! That's how you start it, baby. Boom! Woo!
Yeah.
Woo! Man, talk about shaking. Yeah. Okay, 4-2. Woo. Every cast before that, I hadn't hit the brush pile. First limb I touched, that fish bit it. That's a good sign of things to come if they're still there. That's all you do. You just gotta hold steady pressure on those fish. If you try to horse them out, you'll lose them every time. You'll either rip a hole in their mouth or you'll break them off. But if you have patience and you just hold them, then you're able to just slowly work them out. Because especially when you hook a big one like that, they've got them big head shakes. They'll shake the branches loose usually.
Well, the wait for that first fish on the final day is over. Brandon Palaniuk thankful for that. Not enough to regain the lead for him, but enough to lock him right in, right behind the man who led the first 2 days of this tournament, Brent Ehrler. Still plenty of fishing yet to come on this final day on Sam Rayburn. Toyota Bassmaster Texas Fest, benefiting Texas parks and wildlife. This big mid-season event here from Sam Rayburn Reservoir in our host city, Lufkin, Texas. Now, Jordan Lee starts this day all the way down in 9th place. Didn't make the top 12. So why are we checking in with him right now? Davey Height, I would say this is maybe an overabundance of caution, knowing what happened just down the road at Lake Conroe a couple of months ago.
Well, for such a young fisherman, when you talk fishing offshore, especially in the state of Texas, you cannot forget about Jordan Lee. Man, did he get it done at the Bassmaster Classic. Fishing a mock jig, but here at Lake Sam Rayburn, he's fishing a big plastic worm.
Well, that was the biggest comeback ever engineered in the Bassmaster Classic, and young Jordan Lee really got the job done on the final day. And here, he's got actually fewer people to jump over, so he's looking to get that magic started once again.
My two better spots are brush piles. I've caught them out from the brush pile on a harder bottom. It's really paid off. I think I've weighed half my fish on this spot in a different place.
I can make hole.
Jordan Lee fishing hard, even in the wake of his classic victory, definitely not taking a vacation, not chilling out. He is competing here on the Bassmaster Elite Series as we get ready to take you up to our leader to start the day, Brandon Palaniuk. In each of his Bassmaster Elite Series wins, he's found something a little bit different. So as we take a look at Brandon right now, we might think about what he's doing different at this one on our Yamaha Unlock the Lake.
Yeah, Brandon Palaniuk has really done a good job this week. He's trying to target where those fish are moving, the bigger fish. And the key to having success on Sam Rayburn is not catching numbers of fish, but catching bigger fish. And these bigger fish, the females, are moving out offshore, and Brandon Palaniuk is using his electronics. Electronics have come so far in the last few years that he can actually see the fish before he makes his cast.
Those gotta be bass. What's their gar? So they look too short and stubby to be gar. Again. No, he's just in the brush pile. Oh, yep, that's big. It's big. Stay up. I'm gonna come right there.
Nice.
It's more like it right there. That's what I'm talking about. It's gotta be close to a 4-pounder.
Yes, sir. Roll.
312.
312.
312. That's closer. Swim that way.
Well, you've really got to love what Brandon is doing here. He's idling around with his electronics, finding new pieces of isolated cover, and he is sticking with the big worm today. He's laid all those other rods down. He said, I can't get them to bite a big crankbait, but they will bite this big worm, and he's got confidence that he will catch the fish that he needs to win on this big worm.
Bit of a slow start today for Brandon, Paul, and Nick, but right now he looks like he is totally back in the groove, ready to concentrate on putting this one away on Sam Rayburn.
More like it right there.
The Toyota Bassmaster Texas Fest is brought to you by Toyota. Mercury. Shell Rotella. And by Power Pole.
Lake Sam Rayburn and Toyota Bassmaster Texas Fest, benefiting Texas Parks and Wildlife, sort of a hybrid between the Toyota Texas Bass Classic of 10 years before and Bass Fest. Speaking of Bass Fest, the 2014 edition was won by this man right here, Jacob Wheeler up on Chickamauga, a guy you just can't stop watching. He's almost every tournament, he's part of the picture.
He's part of a picture. He's a great young star in our sport, and he's always looking for fish. He knows where some fish are set up, but the key to him doing so well in tournaments, he's always looking for new fish.
Sometimes you just got to find them. Just got to try to get one of them big ones. There he is. Chunk stealer right there. That dang little chunk stealer. Golly. Let me measure him. He ain't nothing but a 14 3/4 incher. Oh, he's good, yeah. We'll get his 5, 110. 110. We'll get his 5 on anyway.
Started the day in 5th place to Jacob Wheeler and languishes in 5th place, needs some size. Brent Ayler got a quick start today, but in the last hour or so, things have definitely slowed down.
I don't know what is going on. They are not eating the bait today at all. They keep bumping it. Crazy. Bet you that's 6 or 8 now that I've whiffed it. Two bites pretty fast. Sun's popping out. I mean, we're in a good spot though. Oh, lost the handle. I lost it too. Oh my goodness. Golly. That's a good one. Oh, there we go. Boy, I've needed one like that for a long while.
3 pounds, 15 ounces.
Almost a 4-pounder.
Yeah.
I'll take it. It's a good call.
Throughout most of this day, Brent Ayler been kind of tightened up. He's been a little all business. Nice to see the smiles popping through, some good success, some good feedback. We'll definitely do that for you. Let's take it into our Shell Rotella Bassmaster garage and talk with Davey about those baits, that bladed jig for Brent Ayler. You know, you think of Sam Rayburn, you think of the lipless crankbaits over there in the grass, but it's sort of a different look this time around.
It's a different look, Tommy, because it's a different time of year. The guys are fishing the same areas they use those lipless crankbaits in earlier in the year. These drains that really hold this grass year year-round, and that's where the bass have focused on. And they stayed in these drains longer than normal because the grass was there, the habitat was there, a lot of bait fish. Obviously, the reason that Brent Ayler was using the vibrating jig and a jerk bait, Brent Ayler was using several different jerk baits similar to these, and his key to catching the big fish, especially the 9-pound 1-ounce Toyota Tundra big fish, was using a bigger jerk bait. He was using a Lucky Craft bait that's a lot bigger than most of the other guys were using, and I think that was a real big key to him catching his 9-pound 1-ounce fish on that jerk bait. The thing that really progressed for him during the tournament was a vibrating jig. And this is a bait that anywhere we go in Bassmaster events now, that you have fish around vegetation, any kind of grass, especially if it's hydrilla like a lot of these guys are fishing around, is a vibrating jig. And Brent Ayler caught a lot of really nice fish in the last 2 days, especially on a vibrating jig. And then Brandon Polinick, he was using several different lures leading into the last day, but I really like what he did. The final day, he stuck with a big worm, a big soft plastic ribbon tail worm. And I think that's the key to Brandon being a closer, being a winner, because Brandon likes to target those big fish, and he did the final day. He laid everything else down. He was using a 1/2-ounce tungsten sinker with a bobber stopper to keep that sinker down close to the soft plastic, because he was fishing it through brush piles. And it's real important for your sinker not to separate from the soft plastic when you're fishing in these brush piles. And like I said, my hat's off to him for sticking to the big worm, trying to catch those big fish on the final day, targeting the brush piles, and it really paid off for him on that final day.
All right, so big analysis of the big worm on our Skeeter Taste the Bait.
There she is. Oh, that'll help. Sit down. Whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah!
Oh, yeah.
Woo! Yeah!
Oh, yeah. Sweet.
Sucker's so cold from that north wind, she couldn't even swim. She couldn't even fight.
Nice.
4.8, huh?
4.8, yeah.
4.5 pounder, that's what we needed. 3 more bites like that. That's a fat and healthy one.
Yes, indeed.
4.8. That was like a 2-pound upgrade. Now we're at like 18 something. Hey, every ounce is counting right now, I promise you that. Just when you're about to bail on it, somebody goes and gives you a 4.5 pounder.
Well, that's surely a sign of a young angler, but he's certainly thinking about one thing, and that's winning this tournament today.
Absolutely. 18-12 on the day so far. Not so many bites, but I tell you what, it's got him clear of all the field except for one guy. Brent Ayler certainly with a chance to run down Brandon Polinick. 1.5 hours fishing time left to go. We'll show it to you in just a moment. Toyota Bassmaster Texas Fest, benefiting Texas Parks and Wildlife, Sam Rayburn Reservoir. This is the final day. 12 anglers left in this thing right now, and starting the day, 4th place was the winner of B.A.S.S Fest, which is one of the forerunners of this tournament. Back in 2014, Jacob Wheeler. Here he caught 20 pounds plus. The first 2 days had a bit of a drop off on day number 3, and it's not going real fast, Davey, today.
Well, it's not. He's catching a lot of fish, but not the size that he wants. This wind direction change has changed the fishing a lot, but more so than that, I think the post-spawn mode of these fish, these bigger fish are moving offshore by the minute. Jacob Wheeler's caught most of his fish around the shallow trees and bushes.
Get him back there where he lives at. Not a good one. Yes, sir. Here.
We've really been able to see a lot of Jacob Wheeler all season long, and he's really showing us how versatile a fisherman he is. We've watched him catch smallmouth offshore. We've watched him catch big largemouth fish at Toledo Bend, deep cranking. Now he's really doing a good job with a plastic frog.
Yeah, Jacob Wheeler, definitely one of those guys we need to keep our eyes on. Total weight of 73 pounds even right now with 5 fish on the day. Jacob Wheeler started in 4th place, languishing in 4th place, and Jason Christie started this day in 5th place, and he is currently in 5th place. But Jason Christie also one of those guys we've got to keep our eyes on as far as the season-long performance goes. Back in Mississippi, our last event, he took over the lead. Toyota Bassmaster Angler of the Year points, and he's extending it a little bit here. Like Davey said about Jacob Wheeler, here's a guy who's very, very versatile, so he may have a great position as far as the end of the season is shaping up.
More than an area, I'm running a pattern, and you just keep moving and trying to find fish that are biting. When you get around them, they'll bite. You know, whenever they're in that mood, you'll catch some. Biggest thing is covering water. Just keep moving, and because on this lake, you just never know where you're going to catch one, or I don't. And I still haven't got it dialed in. You know, each day it takes me a little while to get dialed in on where they're setting up, and today it's the opposite it was the last day. You know, the last day, or the 3rd day, they were, dang it, there's a bite right there, in real shallow. And today I can't catch them up there shallow, and everything's kind of more in that mid-range. That's the first one that's bit it twice.
All right, Jason Christie still continuing to figure out this bite, this topwater bite that he has devoted the entire week to. As we head over to Hank Cherry, we mentioned Hank Cherry and the prodigious amount of fish he's been catching each and every day, all day long here on Sam Rayburn, and no stopping the pace this week.
No, but he's changed up today. The final day for all these fishermen, they've got trying to win this tournament in mind. Hank Cherry has caught most of his fish on a jerkbait coming up until today, but now he's throwing a top water. Looks like a whopper plopper.
That was a pretty good strike. Wake you up out of a trance. He let it get way out there before he hit it. That was a good call.
Well, if you've been catching 100 fish a day, I guess it only takes about 5 minutes to fall into a trance right there. But Hank Cherry, woken from his trance in a great way. A good keeper right there as we head back over to Brent Ayler.
A few biters back here. Gonna call. As soon as that sun comes out, they start biting. That's a 3-pounder, it's gotta be.
2 pounds, 13 ounces.
Almost a 3-pounder.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Nice one again. Oh boy.
Pounds, 9 ounces.
Yes. How was that for a flurry?
2.8 and 2.10.
I mean, to go from, I had 12 pounds coming into here, and in 5 minutes I jumped up to 16. You know, I still have 2 little ones in there I need to get rid of. I really need like 2 good bites to have a chance right now, but I mean, that was just as fast as I could get it in there. Crazy. I fired them up, you know, and they bit. So, like my odds a lot better now, but shoot, I need another, you know, I need another 4 pounds of raw weight to have a chance, minimum, if not more.
Well, Tommy, if you remember, Brent Ayler said at the Bassmaster Classic, these fish needed time to set up. They needed to rest a little while. And after this wind direction changed, I knew this afternoon these fish would be set up better. And Brent Ayler is really dialed in on these fish now that they have set up just like he wants.
Well, it looked for a while like he was giving Brandon Polinick a passing lane, but now he has rejoined the battle, neck and neck at the top. We'll be back.
How was that for a flurry?
The Toyota Bassmaster Texas Fest is brought to you by MINN KOTA, Yamaha, SKEETER boats, and by Humminbird.
Toyota Bassmaster Texas Fest, and we are down to the final moments of fishing on the 4th day, the championship day. Here on Sam Rayburn Reservoir. What a tournament we have had so far, and it's come down to 2 guys, Brandon Polinick and this man, Brent Ayler.
Yeah, Brent Ayler really needs a good fish here, but he's had a couple key areas where he's been able to catch these bigger fish, and he's on one of them now.
Uh-oh, I can't tell. We good?
Yes, sir. 2 pounds, 9 ounce. 2 pounds, 10.
Got it. Every ounce helps. I thought he was a lot bigger when I first hooked into him. Probably the one I had hit and miss it right before we left. I had a cast this way and missed one. It was almost that exact same cast. Probably the same one. We boiled on it. Oh, that's a good one. It's a real good one. Oh. Oh. Oh boy. Oh, lucky craft. Boy, lucky craft. Saved me on my jerkbait.
5 pounds, 15 ounces.
Oh my goodness, 6 pounder.
15 ounces.
Yeah, it's over. I feel a lot better now, man. That giant coal right there. You know, I gave a fighting chance. That's all I can hope for. You know, I get one more bite and then I'll feel a lot better. Still bummed I couldn't fish that offshore stuff, that deep stuff. But I have nickel and dimed them pretty good shallow. What a day, man, what a day.
Basically 2 flurries late in the day from Brent Ayler. He was down by as many as 5 pounds, and now he has retaken the lead from the man who started the day with the lead, and we're going to him right now, Brandon Polinick.
All week, these 2 guys have been back and forth at it like 2 heavyweight fighters, so you've got to know Brandon Polinick's got one more punch left in him.
I've never wanted to catch like a 6 or 7 pounder so freaking bad in my life. Like, oh, just one giant. That's what we're just talking about. Like, I'm like one bite away from feeling like I got a shot. One big bite. Oh gosh. Oh, it was in the brush pile. Oh,
it's huge. Oh gosh, that's it right there, baby. Stay on there.
I'm coming right there, man. That's her. Easy, easy girl. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, man. Come on. Come on. Dude, my heart is pumping so bad. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Come here, come here, come here, come here, dude. Woo! Oh! That's what I'm talking about right there! 236, man!
Oh, brother.
236! I can't even unhook that thing.
$15.
515, baby. There's our 6-pounder. Go! Woo! I'm sorry, man. I can't help it. Don't worry. It crossed my mind. I'm like, if she goes that way, I'll take her. I'm shaking like a freaking leaf, man. I said we needed one more. Dude, that's almost, I mean, my legs are shaking. That's like almost a 3-pound upgrade. That gives us a shot. Look at my leg.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh my gosh. How crazy is that, man?
We suspected the day might end this way, and so it has. The two anglers who had separated themselves from the rest of the pack at Toyota Bassmaster Texas Fest are going to have to settle it on the weigh-in stage, and we're ready to go.
We started with 109, cut it down to 51, 12 went out today, and now just 2 remain. Started today with 71 pounds, 14 ounces. Him and Brandon had a pretty incredible lead in the rest of the field. All he needs is 12 pounds and 2 ounces to take the lead. Lufkin, you think he's got it? Looking for 12-2. 19 pounds and 14 ounces. And he is back in the lead. Man, what a week you've had.
It's really a great fishery. Texas Parks and Wildlife have done an unbelievable job out here. I wish the other states would take into what they're doing and, you know, increase the habitat and the fishing and make everything in the country like it is here. And it's, you know, it's crazy just to know that you're in Texas and any cast you can catch a 9-pounder.
Our final angler came into today with the lead and is hoping to hold on to it. From Rathdrum, Idaho, the prodigy Brandon Polinick. Side by side, one way or another, we are going to have an incredible champion. Texas, are you ready to decide this whole deal? Looking for 19 pounds and 13 ounces. Hit it. 21 pounds and 12 ounces. 21-12, and Polinick pummels him on Championship Sunday. The prodigy becomes a 3-time Bassmaster Elite Series champion and rolls out of town with $100,000 and a guaranteed Geico Bassmaster Classic berth.
I caught a 515 at 2:36 with a 3 o'clock check-in and had 21-12. I mean, without that fish at 2:36, there'd be a different dude standing up here right now.
I don't know if anyone realizes how close this was. At 2:30, Brent Ayler caught a fish right around 6 pounds and took the lead in this tournament unofficially. It was so tight it never got reported on Bass Track. And 6 minutes later, the prodigy gets it done. Let's hear it for him. Here he is, the 2017 Toyota Bassmaster Bass Fest champion, Brandon Polinick.
Well, there he is, young, and oh yes, he's still young. Brandon Polinick, already his 3rd Bassmaster Elite Series victory. We can certainly say this about this young man. He is definitely a closer. There's a guy who couldn't quite close it, and maybe a second Texas Disappointment of the Year for Brent Ayler, but a pretty good, a lot more than consolation prize. He wins the Toyota Tundra. That's a huge part of the prize package here, and he did it on the basis of this one, 9 pounds and 1 ounce. Congratulations, Brent Ayler. And Davey, just a great tournament all the way around. Those two battling it out to the last minute. You couldn't ask for more.
No, you couldn't ask for any more. It was a great tournament. Sam Rayburn certainly did not disappoint. And I want to tell you, Tommy, my hats are off to the folks at Texas Parks and Wildlife for doing such a great job with the fisheries in the state of Texas. Not only Sam Rayburn, but Toledo Bend and all the others in the state. And I certainly hope a lot of folks are watching from other states and will take note from what Texas has done.
Absolutely. And the roots of this tournament go back 10 years, $2.5 million raised through the years for Texas Parks and Wildlife. That is significant. A great, great experience, a win-win all the way around. So great to have had you along with us, and we'll see you next time on the Bassmaster Elite Series.
Oh gosh. Come here, come here. Come here. Come here, dude.
Wow! Yeah! That's what I'm talking about right there!